Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Yes, it's time for another Sarcastic Distractions, the interesting podcast for interesting people. And as always, it's featuring the Gentleman Society of Podcasting. Myself, Harvey, my heterosexual life mate, David, and the ever-loving AJ.
Hello.
And today, we are stuck inside David's torture box. This is
no torture.
Mm-hmm. This is his design.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are going to be discussing our favorite bands, but there's a very specific criteria to it, and it's very rigid, which makes it very hard for us to figure out the hell we're going to do. But listen,
it's rigid and hard.
I don't want to, I don't want to sit there and downplay the idea because I'm definitely for this. So I will let you, sir, take over, and you let us know what we're going to be discussing and how we're discussing.
I will happily share the wonderful open question I put towards all three of us that was not abnormal in its rules, which is, what are your three favorite musical artists, bands, individuals? Just, what are your top three? 1, 2, 3. 1 being the must, yes, oh my word. 2 and then 3.
Yeah, which was fine.
That's
fine. I could probably figure that out. That's something I can do. Go on.
Well, I'm trying
What's the next step?
What next step? And then just pick the favorite song.
Oh, exactly. Boil down the essentials.
No, see, for me, the initial, of picking the bands, that was that.
I did
for
like
me,
my
that was
joke
torture.
between us, yes.
For me, that was torture.
For sure.
I have 3 of my top many.
1, 2, 3.
It doesn't. I don't know.
Not fair. I got splits, and it's going to be a pain in the ass because I'm going to decide in the moment. Is kind of where I'm at.
That's good. I have to admit, when I started to get into the third, then I was starting this, but no this. I did pick, but
because you start to switch in and out, right? Anyways,
I had and again, it was just I had multiple.
As a musician, I'd say I did my top 3 most influential.
Nice, yeah. Again.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, being that you are the resident musician, that probably makes the most sense, right? Because that's led into your career and
because that's even part of my selections. Not only do I love the music, everything about that particular group is also just that. Yeah, I feel inspired often. I'm starting to. Oh yeah, it still has that effect.
Gotcha.
I think for me, I chose based on the most impact they've had on my life. That was and I know everybody has this with their bands or their music that they listen to. There's certain artists or songs or albums that will come on and just seem to be the perfect thing you need in your life at that moment. It seems to soundtrack your life, which is another podcast one day. You know what I'm talking about though? So I think because of that, and it can be an album that came out 30 years ago, like it could be Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, and then you hear it for the first time and it just perfectly maps your life, right? So for me, that's kind of what I was trying to gauge my favorite.
Yeah, for myself, it was the little bit of all of that, because again, you can even, all my 3 selections are all selections that I encountered and took on early in my life.
Yes.
Right. Don't get me wrong, great bands, artists nowadays, but they're great bands now. If I had to pick 3 artists and those are the only 3 I could ever hear from, that's kind of how I chose mine. To a certain extent.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I would say in mine, when I do finally make my selection, I will be at peace with the same thing. It's like if these were the last 3 artists I could listen to ever, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I could do that for sure. Well, obviously collaborations too, right? So like other artists that aren't in the 3 that that's fine. Now, Dave, are you allowing? Are we going to also discuss why we made our choices?
Oh yeah, no. My thought was we go through it again as I try to make it, not only band. And I remember, I think I sent this out like 2-3 days later. I'm like, oh, by the way, must pick a top song with that band.
Son of a
even
bitch.
I found that challenge.
Son of a
I don't
bitch.
even.
I can't even
I might have to just pick a song off of a record,
off the album
or something.
I could do probably favorite song off each album for each of the bands that I love the most, but I don't think I could just boil it down to one song for each band. Well, I guess I have to.
You have to. That is it. I have to admit, I came prepared. I thought hard.
Those are the rules.
That is the rules.
I tried so hard. Oh my God. For preparation for this, I've gone through a good 12 hours of music.
Nice.
Yeah, going through just different things that I love and what grabs me more than other things, really trying to dig deep because I really want to make this count. The internet knows. You're going to know. So, yeah.
Yeah, as I said, my first two were easy for me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's get this started. Who wants to lead off?
I guess I will lead because, I said, hey,
okay,
I could.
Sure.
And again, number one, that's the hardest.
It is.
For most others. For me, I have to admit it was easy.
Are we going 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, whoa. AJ with the twist. Shyamalan.
You know what? Yeah, so I totally planned. No, I didn't even think of that. That is a good idea. So please, let me there we go. Yeah, number 3.
Okay.
Which in some ways is actually just as challenging as my number 1. But really for me, it was just that picking. This one was a lot harder. I listened a lot, different varieties. But in the end, and again, this gets me in a bit of trouble because of how far it goes back, Blues Brothers.
Oh, wow.
Dan Aykroyd.
Wow.
Yeah. All that whole thing. Yeah, like I have to admit, like him and John, and again, this is like 78, 80, but it's one of those things that I just grew up hearing in the background. I fell in love with the movie, of course. But yeah, those 2 albums, like I can put constantly and hear the originals, which is a cheat, I know. But, hear them constantly, and I love them. I sit back, I sing along. It's one of those, I can, and it's great. And it's a band, and of course it's easy for me to say this, but had it stayed the 2 members and they've been able to continue to go, if you hadn't passed
Jim
away,
Belushi.
hadn't passed away,
Yeah.
Then,
or John, sorry.
Yes,
yes,
John.
Yeah,
John.
sorry. My bad.
Oops.
I'm bad Belushi fans. I know it is.
You're canceled.
Yeah. Like it's just, I love it. It's one of those, I can just love it all the time. And my favorite song, She Caught the Katy.
Oh, that's a great song.
I
can't go wrong with that.
I can't disagree with that. And you're saying, yeah, there's originals versus, because a lot of the stuff that the Blues Brothers did were covers, and that's the great thing about blues too.
Right.
Yes.
Is there is a lot of covering other musicians,
there is.
and there's no real, oh my God, somebody covered this song kind of attitude like there is now.
No.
But I think it's also the visual, if you've ever seen them perform, like on Saturday Night Live or in the movie or wherever else, that goes along with that song or whatever, or the album, or because there was a lot of energy.
Oh, yeah.
Versus maybe some old dude sitting on a chair playing guitar, singing the same song.
And they even kind of mock that in the movie too, a little bit too, right? Where they,
No, I don't see the mock.
Maybe not mock.
Not mock. Don't get me wrong.
The movie itself, I could.
They're making a bit of,
a little fun.
They're making fun of it,
So that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But it's that making fun of it in the homage way, like in the way you're saying, like we're making fun of you because how much we love you, and we trust one another. You're not going to kick my ass or anything.
And also, let's give Blues Brothers credit for the fact that it put blues on the map on the world scene.
Oh yeah, another big.
It kind of moved it up a bit.
Oh, because I mean, all the famous artists that were a part of it, a lot of blues artists that nobody had ever heard of before, but because Dan and John were such big fans, they had them included.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great third choice pick, man.
Yeah.
Does it make you, weird question, and I'll ask this the same to you if yours is in the same realm, what I'm going to ask. Does it make you upset that you might not ever hear more Blues Brothers music like that?
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things that as I come out with my artists, it makes me upset.
Dan still does it.
Yeah, he does.
Well,
with Jim and John Goodman.
And
Jim
I
Belushi
haven't
and John Goodman.
actually heard it. I've seen the 2000, which I actually didn't mind. 2000, I was okay with it.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I thought personally, I thought the story in the first one was far superior to the story in the second one, but the musical numbers were great in the second one.
Oh yeah, no,
I didn't think the musical numbers were bad at all.
Oh no, they were
great.
fine.
But for a movie, my money's for I don't know if I'd ever put it on again or watch it as a.
I would just watch
movie.
the musical scenes,
something like that, right? But the first one is
fucking
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest movies I've actually once sat there and counted how many cars crashed in certain scenes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yep.
Just
the mall run is always one of my favorites too. Shit.
Yeah, my God. That's amazing.
I have a Blues Brothers record on vinyl.
Oh,
myself.
Nice. That is cool.
I enjoy the Blues Brothers.
Nice.
They're fantastic. AJ, what's your third choice?
I'm going to go in order of when in my life I was influenced by the band.
Oh, okay. All right.
See,
it's all about this.
Throwing more, and I have visual aids.
Yeah,
Yay,
visual
aids.
Number
Hope the
3.
camera's working. Oh, of course.
The Foo Fighters. Two of my favorite Foo Fighters records.
Yes. Very nice.
My
Very
top.
nice.
I love them all, but
Nice.
these would be the ones I love the most. Yeah, so we already know I love the Foo Fighters. I guess. Well, no, I was really into Nirvana when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When they kind of broke out onto the scene. Thank you, Weird Al, for getting
Yeah.
into Nirvana.
Absolutely.
Because I was into all that kind of stuff before, I guess, listening to real music, if you will. I can remember some of the first albums that I had. Well, I guess California Raisins, visually not a band, but
the Christmas one.
But
totally had that album.
But the songs, I had the first two. I think I had the Christmas one as well.
Yeah.
But it was the first two albums because they were just all covers of Motown songs.
Yes.
And my parents used to listen to the Big Chill soundtrack.
Gotcha.
Which was all Motown songs,
yes,
right?
yes,
so I've been listening to, shit like I've heard it through the grapevine and all that kind of shit since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Jesus Christ, where was it going?
I don't know.
But, listening to real music.
There you go.
Thank you, Weird Al, for introducing me to Nirvana. And then a buddy of mine back in 94, 95, that area, introduced me to the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And
Right on.
that's kind of when I started
Gave you that
playing
tape
drums.
and eventually you played it.
Yeah, eventually at some point. No, he actually sat me in his car, I think, and he was like,
Oh,
"You gotta
gotcha,
check this
gotcha.
out." But yeah, that was also around the same time I was getting, like, I've been playing drums since I was 12, but getting to 15, 16.
Gotcha.
More playing with groups, and that's kind of where you're, I'd say, defining your style as a drummer or a musician. I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, musician.
It's the same for guitar players, or
Probably.
other people. But anyway. But yeah, so Dave Grohl definitely sort of shaped how I played drums between Nevermind, In Utero, and the first two Foo Fighters albums, which this would be the second one.
Nice.
Right on, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be where it sticks in my life. That would be why I love the Foo Fighters. And
I'm just more surprised that they got number 3.
I am too.
It would be in, like I said, in order of influence in time of life.
Okay,
right?
okay. Gotcha.
They would be number 3 in the list of when I felt some sort of connection to that.
I feel like you loophole Dave, but that's okay. I'm not gonna sit there and argue.
And I love this record here because they did it all in Dave's house. So
Nice.
It wasn't in a big professional studio or anything like that.
Just a rough
it's
sound.
rock and roll,
right?
It's just
Gotcha.
rock, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a great
Nice.
record.
that's where.
And song.
Oh, and song. Jesus.
Yeah. I love that
Jesus. Do I get to pick 2?
Nope. No.
Off of these 2 records or anything? Well, these would be my 2 favorite records. So
Well, there you go.
The songs would be on there. Oh. I'm going to say Walk.
Nice.
Off of Wasting Light.
Wow. I
Cool.
fucking love that song.
Yeah.
Right on.
No,
wow,
that was
man.
good.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud that you picked one too.
Me too. Like, wow.
And take a breath. That's right.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
It's like that's one, and then the other one's like 1.00002.
Yeah. It's exactly how the scale works.
Exactly.
You got it.
Sure.
Yeah. What about you, sir?
Yes.
So my third favorite band comes down. They're actually newer artists, relatively, in my life. And
The Backstreet Boys.
Yes. Well,
NSYNC.
no, they're the favorite
Backstreet
band
is higher
of all
than
time.
NSYNC, but my opinion.
Yeah, sure. But wait, is Justin Timberlake better than
Justin is higher than both.
Okay.
Like,
Same
yeah,
page,
yeah,
same
yeah,
page,
yeah.
for sure. All right.
Easy.
So my 2 selections, and I'm just throwing it out there because I guess,
2
it's gonna be my
selections.
theme. Well, give me a second.
No.
I'm trying to decide between the 3, and I was going to either be between Coheed and Cambria and Childish Gambino. And I'm going to have to say Childish Gambino
Oh, is your gotcha?
as my third.
Gotcha.
And it's because they were both extremely influential in a very pivotal point in my life as bands and music. And Coheed was a band. We're not going to talk about them right now, but
That's breaking the rules.
I know because of an influence that they were, and I told
No.
But with Childish Gambino, I've been following Donald Glover and his comedy career when they were doing Derek Comedy,
Right.
for like ever. Like when they first did their first videos, I remember it was a the dry blowjob. I'm gonna make it so dry for you. Some of the stuff they did, like we would just watch that stuff all the time. And I loved them so much. And then when I found out he was a rapper, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's neat. I'll check that out. I love hip hop.
Yeah.
And then when I heard his hip hop, it legit like changed something in me. And the reason why, it was the first time I had heard a hip hop artist. Now, I'm not a young black man from Atlanta, obviously, but it spoke to me in a way that I never heard hip hop speak to me. Like I'm a big fan of Jay-Z, Run DMC, and all these things.
Yeah.
The thing is, I never grew up in New York.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so as much as I love them as artists and all the other hip hop I listen to, it was never really like I'm always observing it. I'm never living it, right? Whereas with Gambino, that changed, and I know the song right off my head. Like, what changed for me was on the album Camp. Like, it was fun listening to certain songs that he did. What was that, like Freaks and Geeks? Because that's when I found out. But I love the show Freaks and Geeks. It's like, oh, he's got a song called Freaks and Geeks.
Go check.
Nothing to do with each other. But I was like, oh wow, this guy knows his shit. And then I got deeper and deeper. Then and I found out he was doing it like a legit hip hop artist, where he was like releasing mixtapes for cool. In the underground. I was like, oh, that's awesome, whatever. And then when he released Camp, that's when I was changed. And the song is That Power. That song, like I don't know how anybody can listen to that song and has been to like camp and has dealt with, the things you deal with when you're a young child at camp and not get something from that track. I just don't like. And then ever since then, I've just been hooked. He's gone off into weird and different paths, but like I'm always drawn into his music, and it always makes me in a better place for listening to it.
Well,
so,
that is good.
Yeah, so that's why.
I can't say I've heard much.
I think I haven't heard much either.
I think the only one I heard is the big one there. This Is America or whatever.
Oh yeah, This is America, and yeah, for sure, yeah.
But I mean, I get it. I would have gone into, because of Derek Comedy and Community.
Yeah,
I would have gone into listening to it thinking this is going to be silly rap.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
No, I can see how it's definitely not. He's trying to say something.
He is, right? And
yes,
he's a prolific artist, and it's crazy that it took as long as it did for him to kind of reach those heights. But in the same vein as your favorite band, like, we might not get another Gambino record, or if we do, that very well may be the last. Like, he's made a very finite limit to his career.
That's his goal.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Right? He's like, do your music, get out, sort of thing.
Well, he did his early, and now he's in. Yeah.
Exactly, right.
He'll go back to comedy.
Probably, yeah. Well, I mean, that's always going to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's still a funny guy. I'm not trying to knock that.
Oh, yeah.
Just one of those. He's probably very much in that, not just, make music, but try to make music with a message that he wants to express.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, a lot of the messages aren't, we hear other people give messages. Not that there's anything wrong with whatever messages artists want to give. They're just very personal. They seem very, very just deep. He gets to you.
It's more than some, I guess, the popular hip hop would be, because I find the popular hip hop is the stuff where they're rapping about cars or money or gold chains or popularity, having money and having all this stuff, whereas hip hop originally was the expression of where you
what
came
your
from,
life
what
is,
your
what's
life
happening.
was like. And a lot of the people who did that grew up in some form of project area.
Mm-hmm.
And and I personally, I find I like that hip hop much better, like old school hip hop, if you will. Or even nowadays, if somebody like Childish Gambino comes out and they're actually saying something, groovy.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's my third choice.
Nice.
That was hard.
Well, now to make it even far simpler, second choice. I started the third. Like, come on, I started this game. Chris.
Oh, fuck.
What was your second?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's another choice. It's got to be the Tragically Hip.
Nice.
It has to be. It has to
okay.
Be. Like,
I'm not surprised.
Because I remember as a kid.
Good call.
laugh away. I remember as a kid in public school and saying to a friend that I'm going to be a rocker and I'm going to love Bryan Adams, because I love Bryan Adams.
Yeah, why not?
But then when I was like 9 or something, I don't know, maybe a little older, maybe 11 or 12, Yeah, it would have been 11 or 12. My dad got me the Tragically Hip's debut record.
Nice.
And I think I might have heard Up to Here, I think, or it was one of the whatever
something on the radio.
on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
And then when I first heard the record, I'm like, oh, it's cool. But like, I don't think I was old enough to really understand how, like, you know, their presence or whatever. And yeah, so then I ended up, you know, a couple years later, started really grooving to that record. But then when like Day for Night came out, that was a few albums later. That was it. That was like, as much as I loved grunge, I didn't really get into that scene until a little later. But like Day for Night was, I know it's not really a grunge record.
I would say
it's my introduction.
It's
into
your
that
gotcha,
yeah. It had. So we're gonna say, AJ.
I was just gonna say, if you want to, you know, if anybody asked what Canadian music sounds like, I would probably say
the hip.
Oh yeah, it's and
because there are a lot of bands out there nowadays. Like the Trues kind of give me a hip sort of vibe. I'm not saying they're anywhere.
No, the Arkells
similar, but they still have that Canadian vibe. I feel like Our Lady Peace's first album kind of had that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then when they went to the major label thing, it was just another
didn't have the
cookie. You know, like Superman's Dead's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as Naveed.
Right.
Naveed is better.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Starseed or something like that. Right, where it's
Starseed.
It's a little more independent feeling, I think. And that's what the hip.
They kept it.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Kept it up. They lost me. What album was it? I had Music at Work.
Oh yeah.
That's where I kind of
fell off of it
because I felt like they were starting to go a little
commercial
in a different direction, as opposed to the albums that preceded that were very more Canadian rock and roll.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then the Music at Work video is kind of funny. But
it's pretty good, actually.
What was the one they did with the Trailer Park Boys?
Oh, that would have been the darkest one, and that would have been off of in Violet Light.
So they kind of picked me up here and there along the way.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I didn't ever really, I don't know, enjoy what came after certain albums until Man Machine Poem. That was a good one.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think, and rightfully so, the hip were such a staple in Canadian music for so long that it didn't feel like that big of a deal to let an album or two go by and then come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think we all kind of did that.
Yes.
You heard it all the time too, right? Like it's
on the radio.
Oh yeah.
There's some songs that are great, but it's just like,
I've heard this.
Let's see what else is on the radio.
Oh, for sure.
And then come back to it if
Absolutely.
nothing else. Like New Orleans is Sinking, great song, but how many
times,
thousands
Agreed.
of times have you heard that song?
Agreed. And that's why, like, whenever and this isn't my favorite song, just yet, so don't say that. But if they're like, ask me, like, well, what's some good hip song that I haven't heard on the radio? I'd always get them to Escape is at Hand for the Traveling Man, which is a weird little band song, and then they do Pigeon Camera. Anyway, these are songs that I say, go listen to this.
Those are deep cuts.
These are deep cuts.
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
But then when you get into their deep cuts, like, it's just better than whatever you've heard on the radio. And then, because like you said, Canadian, now pretty much everything they have is on the radio. I don't know if there is any more hidden gems.
I'm
pretty sure the entirety of the Road Apples album was
played.
Were hits on the radio, right?
Yeah. And for me, being such a Saturday Night Live fan, when they were on Saturday Night Live, holy fuck.
I'd have to look that up because I don't remember ever seeing that.
Blew my mind. I begged my parents to let me stay up and watch it. Like,
it's funny that's tied to that Blues Brothers thing because it was Dan Aykroyd, I think, that helped really get them.
Oh,
yes,
it
was.
That makes complete sense.
It was Dan Aykroyd.
That makes complete sense.
Absolutely, yeah, because he was friends with the band. I think Lauren knew about them, but it was Dan that
and he was
really
a host, I think, too. Yeah.
Oh, that makes complete sense.
Oh, he wasn't the host. Wait, was he the host?
I think he was the host that day. I remember him doing the intro in my head.
He definitely entered them.
Maybe I'm just envisioning things.
And like, that was just like, that changed everything because now it's not like, oh, you know, I know about them playing at our high school at some point when we went to Lucas. Apparently they played a few years before.
Oh, really?
There. Yeah. But now it's like, oh my God, they're on like my favorite television show at the time, right? So it's really awesome.
It was a big thing.
So
I feel very fortunate to have at least seen them once in my life.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I think you were at the same show. We saw them at the was it Rock the Park or whatever there. think the Trues played that one too.
Yes, I think they
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, Chris saw him one more time, at least.
I'm grateful to say that I've had a chance to see them. I think 4 times.
There you go.
Wow.
Nice.
Nikki's
Seen their last,
my wife's
tour.
a big hip fan as well. So
Yeah.
Cool.
I was fortunate
And
enough to be able to experience it.
That Man Machine poem, I tell you, it's
a good record.
Really good record.
It kind of
really
goes back to that original feeling in a way,
but also
yeah.
like an
It's
extra level of quirkiness. You know, it's Gord Downey, perfect.
Nice.
I love him. Favorite song, man. Fuck, man.
Yeah, but I was I'm not gonna lie. I was like, before we move on,
could I say one thing? Will you think it?
Sure.
And it just kind of popped into my head. I used to be in the Doors.
Yeah.
And not as a person, but as a poet, Jim Morrison was a great wordsmith.
Yeah.
And I could liken Gord Downey, not in personality or persona or attitude or anything.
Yeah.
But the poetry that comes out
Of the music.
to be
Gotcha.
as interesting and profound and deep and
for
and,
sure.
Nice.
storytelling as Jim Morrison.
Wasn't he Canada's either official or unofficial poet laureate?
Something like that.
I believe he
I
was.
don't know.
I mean, all the like songs, like whether they're about Canada or they're not, they're like the wordplay and the intricacies.
We have that same base as him, and we think much the same way about a lot of these things. I don't mean exact by any stretch, but that sense of.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
Like when you hear Wheat Kings, you know where that song takes place.
That
you
song,
know.
I love that song.
There's a good example of radio song. I hear that one. I'm not switching. I'm just sitting back and singing the fuck along.
For sure.
Same with like 38 Years Old. Like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Horrible torture story, right?
Yeah.
I'm listening to it. It comes on. Oh man, my favorite song.
Yeah. What's the one?
Man. I think just because it brought me to the dance, Nautical Disaster.
Nice.
And like again,
Unexpected, but
another
nice.
song where you think, holy fuck. Like it's such a tortured story, and it's all this guy's head that he's dreaming. And like I remember when I first heard it, I thought it was about
Titanic or something.
Titanic. No, is it Dieppe or it's one or the other. It's either I think it is about the Titanic. Yes, but it was. I thought it was about some war or something like that. But they basically.
Oh, okay.
When you listen to the lyrics, it's just I don't know. It's just
nice.
There's not a bad song the Hip have done, in my opinion.
No.
So,
I couldn't make a choice, and I'm not going to attempt to.
God, I can't even. I'm probably going to change that.
That was a good choice, though. But yeah, I know by the end of the episode, you'll be like, actually, I've changed my mind about the hip song.
Yeah, I probably will. Actually, I'll be doing the editing.
All right, well, we'll let AJ take over now.
What'd I do?
Yeah, no, now it's your turn.
Oh, is it my turn, you think?
Oh,
or
no,
is it
AJ? Sorry, AJ's turn.
Is it my turn? We're going backwards now?
Yeah, sir, why not?
Well, we'll mix it around. I'm making the rules. It's mine.
Right. It's his show.
So,
It's his damn show, damn it.
number 2, AJ. Oh,
Oh,
nice. Good
the
call.
Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Very nice. That was on my list of almost my third. They were so close.
Yeah, that was on my list too. They're definitely my top 5.
This is my parents' original
Nice.
copy of Sgt. Pepper's.
Nice.
It was handed down.
I have to admit, I heard the same exact album in a similar method on my dad's record, his player, constantly.
It's always been around.
Yeah.
I think that's why it means so much to me. Again, great musicians, great songwriters. I love the music.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always been around. Like my parents' wedding song,
Nice.
the Beatles, and that's their era, right?
Yeah.
They were in their teens, maybe a little younger when the Beatles came out. So, and so yeah, it was one of the songs was my parents' wedding song. We used to always have gatherings with family friends in a town not too far from where I grew up, and they'd play guitar and sing songs and have
that is cool.
in another room,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the kids would be in another room. But you'd always hear, my dad and our friend Brent and whoever else singing and playing Beatles songs.
Nice.
And that seemed to be when they were
That is
having
cool.
the most fun.
Yeah, they're
Right?
all
So it's
relaxed.
always been-
hanging. Yeah,
it's
I
always
gotcha.
just
Okay,
kind of been
nice.
there,
Gotcha.
right? So yeah,
That is a
I
great
don't
reasoning.
think
That is
I
good.
could turn a Beatles song off.
Nice.
I enjoy all of them.
I'll be honest,
even the weird ones.
It took me a long time to really appreciate the Beatles. I remember as a kid, I would think, yeah, okay, they make okay songs, but like, why does everybody love them so much? I remember when the White Album was in such controversy with the Apple thing and whatnot. It was a big deal. And then I realized, oh, right, these guys were like 16 years old when they were writing this song. Holy shit, what? And they were producing too, and they were playing all these instruments, and they were at like, to know they were doing that in the 50s and 60s. Well, 60s.
Yeah, 60s and the 70s.
Yeah. At such a young age, and they're making hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's not just this genre, it's every genre.
But a lot of them originally, when they first started out, it was that 60s rock kind of thing. And a lot of it was covers.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to sound like American, because the American bands were the ones who were in that spotlight. I could say they were, I guess, your first boy band in a way as well.
Oh, I never even thought of them that way. Like, shit, you kind of have a valid argument.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, I think
each of them had their little fan base. Each four of them, and whatnot.
I've never thought of them as a boy band.
Think if there's any bands like maybe the Animals. No, I'm trying to think if there's any bands before them that might have resembled some sort of boy band. I don't think there was.
Not really, because they all had. I don't think there were bands. Too many bands that had like that. That everybody had a specific. The entire group had the same style.
Right.
Right. And this is when they started out, and they had like the Beatles haircut.
Yeah.
And,
it was the Beatles.
I mean, had girls screaming and fainting and all that kind of stuff at concerts.
I would if I saw Paul McCartney.
All that jazz. Right? Well, and that's the thing. All of them had some sort of sex appeal to some young lady.
Yeah.
Just like your NSYNCs or your Backstreet Boys or your New Kids on the Block.
That is a fair. I gotcha. Yeah.
Somebody's always a Justin Timberlake fan or the other guy fan.
I'm a Justin.
The only other one I know.
I'm a Joey Fatone fan.
I know too. Yeah, that one, Joey Fatone, and the guy who tried to go to space.
What about Chris Kirkpatrick?
Yeah, sure. The only reason I know that name is because of the Eminem song.
But you don't even know that name. Oh yeah.
That's the only reason I know that name. I couldn't tell you which group he's in. But anyway, back to the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then the evolution of the Beatles, going from that poppy, boom, the Help, and I want to hold your hand, into this.
Yeah, that's the big.
Which is when they stopped touring because the songs were too intricate. They were too technical. There were too many instruments.
Oh, in order for them
used
to actually
in the studio for them to actually recreate it live.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
That's when they stopped touring.
I thought it was just because they didn't want to hang out in that manner any longer or something.
That happened eventually.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, they got a little tired of each other.
But,
understandably.
Now, I wouldn't say this record is my favorite Beatles record.
Oh.
It was probably, it's the only one that I grabbed at the time. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's I'd say it's the one I listened to the most, just because it was sitting around the house. But I very much like their last album, Let It Be.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful.
I like the song.
It's just more, the whole album is just raw.
Yeah.
Right? It's
I don't know
just
if I've ever heard
four
the
guys
whole
sitting in a
album.
room again after doing this and, Abbey Road and the White Album and all that stuff where they get all hippie-trippy. And,
like, it's crazy to think. Like, how many albums did they actually make? 4?
Fuck, I don't know. They made way more than that.
I thought it was a lot.
Oh, was it a lot? I thought
Meet the Beatles, Please Please Me.
Okay, then. Disregard what I said. Moving on.
This one, the White Album, Abbey Road.
Oh, no, that's what it was.
Rubber Soul.
How long were they a band for? They were like very short amount of time, relatively speaking, right?
I want to say
that was like 20 years.
10, 20 years, something like that, maybe.
I thought it was 20.
Yeah, I think they stopped in this. No, I think
it'd be mid 70s.
Should we really find out? Let's just
like my headspace is maybe early 70s. I'll call it early 70s. I say 20. That's my 20? Vote. 20.
Let's find out.
I always thought it was a much shorter time frame, but I'm clearly mistaken.
Active from 1960
till.
Now I got to go all the way into it. So yeah, they started in the 60s.
1960.
1970. 10 years.
10 years.
Oh wow!
So that's what I wanted to say. You have a 10-year window, and how much amazing music do they produce?
Oh yeah, they did a great job.
A ridiculous amount.
It's crazy to think. Like, I don't think there's a single other artist that produced that much music, that much next level music in such a
Because they would basically come in and really push.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And on a whole market level to boot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
a wonderful machine.
Originally, they had Beatles, everything.
Oh, yeah.
So they did.
Beatles teeth brushes and lunch boxes and no teeth brushes.
Toothbrushes.
I don't know. I brush all my teeth with mine.
Yeah,
but what if you only
have their tooth?
And what if you only have one tooth?
Well, then it's a toothbrush.
Okay.
It's like you and me. We use a hairbrush. Dave use a hair's brush.
I do use a hair's brush because I have a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
But
he could brush his beard.
Yeah, so the Beatles.
Nice.
And again,
Great choice.
Good.
I would say they influenced me musically as well.
Oh,
Sure. And production wise,
Did you pick favorite song?
No, not yet.
Okay, sorry.
And on the production end of it, being an audio engineer, how they would get a lot of the songs done, like back in the 60s, we have stereo, which is left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Back then they had mono.
Yes.
Right. So they would have a stereo 4-track, right? Mm-hmm. And then they would use the left for something like the drums, and then they'd use the right side for guitars.
Okay.
And then they'd blend it in the middle.
Wow. Gotcha.
So if seriously,
that's pretty amazing.
Next time you listen to a Beatles song, if there's one on the radio, or I guess you can't really do this on phones very well, but if there's one on the radio in your automobile, or headphones actually,
yeah, headphones.
Take the balance and go back and forth from left to right. You'll hear different things.
Interesting.
You'll hear, certain things on the left half, certain things on the right half, and then when you put that back in the middle,
you hear what you're expecting.
You hear what you're expecting.
Yeah.
So you can do the same with headphones. Take one out.
Yeah, interesting.
Some of it'll just be drums and vocals on one side.
Yeah, I will have to check that out.
Yeah. So from an engineer's point of view too, it was like the way they created Apple or Abbey Road Studios.
Right.
Yes. The techniques that were, I don't say but the techniques that came out of the sessions with them and their producers, or producer George Martin, kind of paved the way for Abbey Road Studios.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
nice.
Love them.
Yeah, they're timeless.
That makes sense.
This I can answer. Favorite song, Day in the Life.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Great song.
I like the story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very simple and easy. I love that song. It's great. That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome.
Cool.
Beatles. We've got a little Beatles action here. That's right. We're from Liverpool now. Wonderful. Anyways, well, Dave.
Well, for me, I'm actually very happy that we haven't duplicated. I was a little.
I thought we were
worried,
too.
but
yeah,
I'm liking it. Anyway,
and I'm pretty confident with our first choices. We're not duplicating. I'm pretty.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I can guess yours.
Well, yeah, I can guess.
I could guess it too. But anyway, now I lost. I'm on number 2. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show.
Oh my God!
My.
Good choice.
Yeah, like the go-to for anywhere, and again, you put on the different album, you put on the best. Like it's just,
that's very much a bunch of dudes in the studio having a party.
Shit, yeah.
Yes.
Right? Like cover of the Rolling Stone. It's not the most put together song in the world, but it's one of the funnest songs in the world.
And I have to admit though, like I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah.
But that's you want to party with these guys. You want to sit and have a beer and smoke a juice with these guys.
It's like very Andrew WK sort of idea where it's just like
time.
you just want to enjoy what they're doing, right? Just enjoy. Dr. Hook's great.
Yeah, but all his songs kind of sound the same.
No, Dr. Hook does not.
No. Well, that's why I love about Dr. Who, because they have like a variety. It's
Sylvia's
great.
mother.
Sylvia's mother. Like,
sometimes I even get a little.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
See, okay, so I'll throw it right now. That's my favorite.
Oh, yes.
Carry Me, Carry.
Me too. Oh,
I'm sure I've heard this one.
I'm
sure I've heard it, but it's not.
That's fine. Yeah.
Come on, Carry.
Carry me a little further.
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah. I thought lyrics, we're making our own.
Just have the whole podcast.
We're making our style.
It's a David
our
Harvey
style.
Well, I'll probably pull it up on my way home.
Can I just say real quickly? I'm fortunate to have introduced that band to people that have never heard.
Nice.
Before. I love that feeling because how often do you get to do that anymore? And Dr. Hook was one of those bands that unless you know, you just didn't know. So We just actually, my buddy Malcolm, shout out to Malcolm. He's driving one of those fancy Teslas.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Malcolm.
And we were doing a road trip back, and they have karaoke in Teslas where you can go and find songs and do karaoke on your Tesla.
Well, that is a good selling point.
So that was when I introduced him to Dr. Hook.
Oh, nice.
And we started with Rolling Stone, Cover the Rolling Stone, and then went into Sylvia's Mother, and then Cameron Carey, and I think When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman, which is
that's another great.
God. Anyways, and he's just like, wow, he just could not believe how great they are. And then another friend who's also a massive music aficionado, has never heard of them before, Mr. I'm not going to mention his name. And again, just to be able to introduce that to people is the best.
I'm surprised that, like, at least, well, maybe not even on the radio, because unless you listen to oldies, you never even hear on the radio.
And usually it's only the two.
It'd be the top.
The two top ones, Sylvia's Mother and Rolling Stone.
What a story, Sylvia's Mother, man.
But see, that's another great one. But anyway, Carry Me, Carry. I love it so much. I would make my children, they don't know the song so much, but they know the lyrics, because anytime they wanted me to pick them up when they were toddlers, they'd be like, okay, well, you got to ask me properly. And for them to do that, they'd have to, carry me, daddy, carry me just a little farther. And it was just,
Well, listen, anybody out there that's never heard of Dr. Hook, do yourself a big-ass favor. Go look him up on Spotify. You will not be disappointed. Unless you don't like great music, storytelling rock. Then you're not. Whatever.
And if you pick one of the sad ones, go to the next one. It'll be a super happy one.
It's kind of like folk music, but better.
Yeah. Doesn't it kind of blow your mind that some variation Dr. Hook played at that bar that we used to hang out at? Norma Jean's?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? I've never heard it.
Only a few years ago, too. Yeah.
I never heard it.
No, I did not know.
I don't know how many original members are left, but I thought it was interesting.
Last actual band I saw at Norma Jean's I've seen a lot of actual bands. Last big name band I saw at Norma Jean's, probably the only one I saw at Norma Jean's was Big Sugar. And Wide Mouse Mason.
Oh, wow. Both bands I'd like to see. Yeah.
Well, they were on the same bill because Gordy Johnson from Big Sugar was playing bass.
Nice.
That is cool.
Mason.
Did you do the whole time or just for that show?
I think before that show, but not when Wide Mouth Mason was popular in the 90s.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It was, I think, their bass player had departed or whatever. Gordy Johnson was like, I'll fucking
cool show that'd be. That'd be an awesome show.
Dude.
Oh, man. Big Sugar's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They're great. I've only seen them at an Edge Fest, but it was great.
I've never seen them, and I have to admit I only know the one song.
Oh, yeah.
They were wonderful.
Yeah, very good. And Wide Mouth Mason. Anyways.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Are we ready now?
Number one.
Numero uno.
So, AJ, you get to kick us off. I will go second, and we'll have Chris surprise us.
Okay.
Again, in order of influence on my...
Gotcha. Yes. Number one.
Number one influence in AJ's life. Oh, wow.
Led Zeppelin.
Went for it. Number fucking 4.
Led Zeppelin, number 4.
Wow.
Well, this being my favorite Led Zeppelin record. I guess this would be the one that influenced me. This is where this is what got me on the pony.
Nice. And I have to admit, you brought that up, and I'm like, I don't recognize that at all.
Hot?
Yeah.
What?
I am one of those annoying people where, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Led Zeppelin, but I've never really gotten into it. It, to me, and I apologize, is a radio band to me.
Well, now they are.
Well, yeah.
True, yeah.
Well, but you know what I mean? That's one of those that, don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like them. It's just that, I hear them on the radio. I've never gone out to actually hear more or anything of that nature. Shit.
It's, I would say the first 4 or 5, most of the records are good. They had one that wasn't the greatest, I'd say, but that one I brought because Stairway to Heaven was on it. And
nice.
Yes, that's the song that they played at the end of every school dance.
Right.
But
well, it's the slow part, not the fast part.
Yeah.
Off the fast part.
But for me, it's that would probably be the first song I ever realized that I love drums.
Nice.
Because of when it kicks in with da-da-da, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my dad saying, because I'd always turn it up in the truck, and my dad looked at me one day and said, "You're a drummer."
Nice call.
Right? Just, you're a drummer, because I love that part. I love the whole song. The whole song's beautiful. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
But when they kick into the heavy rock kind of part, it always kind of put me in a trance.
Nice.
Wow. Really, I would listen to it and just the whole record.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The whole.
Oh, this is a phenomenal.
Especially
record.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Zeppelins 1 through 4.
Oh, gotcha. Took me a second. I was like 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the song. Okay, gotcha.
No, yeah,
That's Feist, Dave. That's Feist.
yeah, no, but yeah, they're all, yeah. Because I started off with that one and then kind of worked backwards. And
right on.
Yeah.
And would you say Stairway is your favorite?
No.
Okay.
Ooh,
all right.
I would have to say that's a hard one. Maybe I would have to say. I don't know.
Ooh.
I guess I don't want to say because it's everyone's favorite. But I can't. Moby Dick.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
I don't even know the song.
Because it's a drum solo.
Yeah, it's
gotcha.
It's a giant drum solo.
It starts off with the band, and then it's a drum solo for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when they do it live, he does it for 8 minutes or something.
Everybody else goes to the washroom, has
pretty
a
much.
drink.
Yeah, he goes, smokes a joint on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That'd be cool to see.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, I'd probprobly say that's
Nice.
number one, and then there's
1.002.
Yeah.
Because I can't. It's so hard. It's one of those records where it's just on.
Gotcha.
There's no skipping.
Yeah.
There's no skipping Led Zeppelin.
No, I don't think I skip any Led Zeppelin either.
So many
My
classics.
dad was a huge fan, and I don't think I really appreciated them when I was younger, but as I got older, he was like, oh my God. You realize how amazing of a song Stairway to Heaven. I know it's all based on subject and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but when many consider it like the greatest song of all time, I can see why. I can see why. It's very complete, and the story is timeless.
It's even at a young age, the story was too just as mesmerizing as because I've been listening to that since I was a baby.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
But because my dad, was a big Zeppelin fan, big music fan. My dad. So.
Yeah. Your dad even influenced me into the music, which is awesome. So that's cool. Not that it matters because it's not my picks. My favorite song by Zeppelin is probably "Ramble On" because it's like the opposite of "Stairway."
That's an amazing song too.
I love it. It kind of sucks that it's now popular and everyone loves it. But what Zeppelin song is it? Like everyone is out there now that everyone.
Oh man, "Whole Lot of Love."
Yeah, it's on the radio.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. It's a great track. Yeah.
If you think of it, I guess from a musician standpoint too, there's another level. Of why all these songs are as great as they are.
For sure. Yeah.
Just like you're saying, like Stairway to Heaven. I'm sure people have tried to write the next Stairway to Heaven, and it doesn't happen.
Right.
Oh,
that's lightning in a bottle right there.
Well,
man.
the D did it, but that's another story.
Yeah,
Tenacious D did it.
They got in trouble for that, though. Because the original version of Tribute
was supposed to be
was Stairway to Heaven. The one they did on the HBO show.
Gotcha.
They actually used pieces of Stairway to Heaven.
For sure.
But when they did it again, when they went to do it again on their album, Zeppelin was like, no.
You know what's funny?
Really?
If they were to do it now with the popularity that the D is, I'm sure they would happily let them do it. It's
also because they just went through something because somebody had accused them of plagiarizing.
Oh,
the riff,
some of the songs.
Stairway to Heaven, yeah.
Not just Stairway. Like, there's a whole bunch of possible questionable.
Yes and no, because again, what happened was I guess they were a little shifty about the first record. Most of the songs were written by a blues feller named Willie Dixon.
Oh, okay.
And they did an entire Willie Dixon album, basically, and didn't give him credit.
Oh.
Which I think in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, it wasn't something... It's something you could kind of
just
scoot under the radar
gotcha.
with, right? But as copyright law and people... It could have even been sampling in hip-hop that kind of brought that forward a little
gotcha,
more.
Yeah.
So they did get a little smack on the wrist. And I think the terms were they had to pay X amount and then credit.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Put the credits on the record,
going forward. Nice.
Because the music itself, a lot of it was changed. But the lyrics were the things that were the most similar to the original. But, I'm pretty sure even Whole Lot of Love and stuff like that. Yeah, that's not even on there. But It's not on that one.
No.
I just keep pointing at it because it's
it's right there.
Because it's there.
It's right there.
But yeah, A Whole Lot of Love was definitely a Willie Dixon song. And
Nice.
I didn't know that actually.
Cool.
What album art? Look at that.
Yeah, that is pretty.
So cool.
Back in the days of the LP.
I know.
You rarely get that now with albums, with LPs. Like,
yeah.
I can pull open one of these Foo Fighters records, and it's just not
The same.
It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different eras.
A lot of them don't even do the opening up thing.
Yeah.
No.
Whereas these,
At least they have it.
A lot of them don't even have a record in them anymore. It's just a code to listen.
Sometimes.
That's true.
That would be hilarious.
It's true.
I would fight somebody.
I know. I'm impressed, sir, that you went with Zeppelin, but it makes a lot of sense that would be
Influentially, yes.
Influentially, yes.
That is what made me want to play drums.
Nice.
Cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And this was like before I ever touched a drum, right? Like
Right.
Probably when I was 7 or 8.
Nice.
Something like that.
Sometimes you get that thing that's just like, lets you know when you know you know.
Yeah.
And that's what this was, right? And
Very
changed
good.
Your life forever.
Cool.
Freaking cool, man.
Nice.
David?
Oh, yes, it is my turn. I love how you're throwing that out there. Me,
If it's
Aerosmith.
not, I was going to say, if it's not Huey Lewis in the news, I'm out of here.
Yeah, screw this.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith for me. It has that similar reasoning that even you described. But for me, it was that, like, I can still remember just sitting there and driving back and forth. My father was getting the pickup drop-offs. Often be an Aerosmith right there, great. And again, back in the 90s when they came out, sort of that, in the 80s, they had the wonderful song, had the hip-hop that kind of brought them back up a little bit. But then, early 90s when they came out with their big album, which name has just poofed out of my brain. But
Get a Grip.
Get a Grip, yep. And then along with the other one afterwards, which was called, I think I wrote it down for safety.
Big Ones?
Big Ones, yeah, because that actually has my favorite song on it.
That was a greatest hits.
A bit, yeah, but
they
threw new ones on too.
Yeah,
okay.
It was that mix, and it's one of the new ones, which are my favorite. So I'm not cheating, but yeah, I will admit, like that was. So I'd always heard these and liked them, but that was the one that, even though most of it was that collection of hits. It just spoke to me in the right way. Just that perfect, just. All the songs, I loved them. I'd listen to it over and over and over and over and over and over, and then I would extend my listening outside of even just that album. And
Wow.
And I loved them, even some of the new stuff that they did, all those things where, the jazz one, I really enjoyed. The one that came out in the early 2000s. A little
really
less
good.
so. Chris knows my biggest complaint about them.
The jazz one.
They came out, blues, sorry,
blues
not
one,
jazz.
sorry, yeah, blues one,
Blues.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
I dug that. Honkin' on Bobo.
Honk on Bobo.
Yeah.
It came with a little harmonica.
Yeah. Oh,
In the
nice.
CD package.
Nice. Yeah, no, I didn't actually buy, I will admit, but
But you're doing all of their other albums, so whatever.
Oh yeah, well that's just it. So, but what was funny about it for me was that picking my favorite was actually easy for me.
Oh wow!
It's even still the one that, like, when I'm in the right mood, and that's more reason why for me it was just that it always spoke to me in that perfect mood, and it's Living on the Edge. Like, it was just, it was a great song.
Hey,
I loved it.
You know what got me into Aerosmith?
What's that?
Living in the Fridge.
Weird Al.
I will give Weird Al credit. Hey, he's allowed to go and rip off any song he wants because he has skill.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I went out and I got I saw the video on an old video channel that we used to get on the satellite dish called The Box. And what you could do is they would on the bottom of the screen they would run song titles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they'd have a code beside the song title, and you'd call up this 1-800 number. And you'd pump. It was like an all request video thing. They didn't have any humans.
Oh, wow.
It was just video after video after video, right?
Awesome.
And I saw the video for "Living on the Edge" and "Living in the Fridge." Because I was a huge Weird Al fan.
Yeah.
And then I went out and got the record. So that was the first Aerosmith record I think I'd ever heard was
Big
"Get a Grip."
Or "Get a Grip." Gotcha. Yeah.
There's a lot of really good songs on that record.
Oh man.
And then it was one of those go backwards kind of things. And
you go back and you get the early ones on them now.
I love the old Aerosmith.
Well, I love the old. I love the 90s. After that, it's not a hate. It's just, you even mentioned this earlier. I can't remember the exact band, but let me just, oops, I pushed the button, next song.
Yeah. They've become that radio band-ish.
Just as it went on a little later. I got older. They're older. Like, again, my big joke is, have I seen them live? No, but I bought the tickets. It was a week before they were supposed to show, and unfortunately, it all got canceled.
Oh,
I was so upset.
Blue Urns.
Yeah,
I was supposed to be there too.
yes, you were. Yeah, that was that's the only time in my life where I've actually bought concert tickets.
Oh no! I will never do it again. Never,
Shit, maybe I have had this buried in me.
Oh, that's why you never bought. That's why you hang out with people who buy concert tickets so you don't have to.
That way I don't go through the pain.
Right,
I kind of fell off the Aerosmith fan wagon when I think it was the song from the Armageddon.
Oh, I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah, because I think it was the fact that it was played so.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
Because I actually enjoy it still.
Oh, it's a good song, but that's because we don't hear it every single day, right?
That's fair.
And if I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the point where they stopped writing their own songs.
I do think there was a point. Yeah, it did happen.
I think Get a Grip might have, and Big Ones, the songs they wrote did on Big Ones.
Yeah.
I think those might have been the last ones that they actually, all of them, wrote the song.
Yeah, from there it became more of a bringing others in, I believe. That support and help.
A big one was, what's his name? Jim Steinman.
Oh, okay.
He wrote most, if not 98% of Meatloaf songs.
Yes.
Okay.
And he did quite a few songs for Celine Dion when she was at her peak there.
Your hand moved.
That one?
But, pardon me?
Love Can Move Mountains that time?
No. What song was it that he did? It's all coming back to me now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He wrote that one, which if you listen to Meatloaf and you listen to that song and a few other songs and you listen to that
I've never thought of that.
The Armageddon-y song there.
Yeah.
They all have this
style.
Touch,
yeah,
this
yeah.
vibe, this they have the nutmeg, I would call it, because that's always the thing in cooking that everybody's like, it's got something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It tastes
Nutmeg.
good, but I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. It's fucking nutmeg, okay? It's either nutmeg or fucking MSG. But yeah, Jim Steinman just has a way of writing, and it's kind of almost like a Broadway-esque kind of vibe. That's that show tune kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, so that's
cool.
Okay. One thing about Aerosmith that I love is, I like, you helped me fall in love with them. I thought they were great, but it wasn't until I started realizing how old of a band they were and how much amazing music they put in. Like, remember the conversations when I started to get into music? People were like, "Oh, are you a Beatles fan or are you a Stones fan?" Which is great, but like, no one ever talks about the fact that Aerosmith.
Oh yeah, they've been around just as long.
Yeah, just as long. Like a year. Like,
they were
later.
They were giant in the 70s, like
right.
with the album Toys in the Attic and
like,
stuff like that. They were huge.
Trust me, like Dream On is maybe one of the greatest songs ever produced.
Dude, I remember hearing the first time I ever heard Dream On was on the Last Action Hero soundtrack, and it was live from an MTV something or other.
Okay. Nice.
And holy shit, I would listen to that song and go to sleep. Like, that beautiful rendition of that fucking song. And then when I heard the original, I was like, this is not fucking Steven Tyler.
I know, you can't even tell him. I know.
Different.
He does.
Because he does the Steven Tyler thing on the live version that I was familiar with. But he's not very Steven Tyler
in the stuff.
On the
back in
the
those
original.
days.
Yeah.
It's just a fantastic song and fantastic band.
Oh yeah,
like I said,
enjoyable.
They get overlooked in that weird way. It's so strange.
Unfortunately, I think they've gotten to that status of almost, I hate to say it, but has been.
Well, they are because of their age, medical,
and
that's the other reasons.
I don't want to think they're only #1 hit on the billboards, I think.
I don't think they've done much since the 90s or 2000s.
Their last album, and I will admit I looked it up, is 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of it, and even I was like, oh shit, I don't know if I've actually heard it.
Oh, wow.
But that was the last one.
Did you?
But I believe that I think a big reason is more, they're up a couple years. Now, don't get me wrong, Rolling Stones, but Rolling Stones are made a lot of they're
outliving us.
Yeah,
They'll be performing when we can't leave our fucking houses.
Yes, that's for sure.
And again, hate to say it, that they're one of those bands that would be designated to a festival.
Yeah.
I think,
at this point. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
And that's kind
maybe
of
a headliner, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure, a headliner.
Yeah,
but that's when your career's starting to kind of.
Oh, I'm not worried about the career. It's their sound and vibe. Fuck. I shouldn't say fuck the vibe. I hope and believe, and my understanding is they're fine.
And Steven Tyler is one crazy motherfucker. He's just a kooky banana pants, that man.
But that's what makes him so great.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Aerosmith do one more last defining record. Not that I'm not grateful for the music they brought us.
Yeah,
brought us. It's not a real word.
Bring us. Bring it us.
Give us the. What do you want to say? But if we get just one more record where they all were to write and do it, I don't think it'll ever happen.
No, I shouldn't say no. My money would be on no.
Yeah.
Let me phrase it that way.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
All right, Chris.
Well, obviously, my favorite band of all time is the Mad Moxies.
Mad Moxies.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Clearly, they are.
It's the best band ever in the world.
They're amazing.
Is it Rammstein or Rammstein? Anyway, sorry.
Rammstein.
Rammstein.
That's the Jewish version.
Rammstein.
Rammstein. Anyway, sorry. Back.
I'm wearing it. 9 Inch Nails, my favorite band.
I thought he was going to say cargo shorts. The cargo shorts, everybody.
Shorts and Adidas shoes. Yes, exactly. Yes. 9 Inch Nails.
Makes
sure.
sense.
And it changed, like...
I preferred 8-inch nails.
Well, that's...
First.
Well, like, that's because you don't drive a big truck. I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't want to go with that.
8 inches is totally normal.
Yeah,
don't be worried. It's
fine.
It's fine.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
It's a good size.
Yeah. I'm more of a 9 guy, but you know.
Sure, guys.
Yeah, and no other band has been influential at more points in my life than 9 Inch Nails, for sure. And for me, go ahead.
I have a question for you. Can you call them a band? Can you can
now.
Live, yes.
And I mean,
but in the studio,
now.
could
he writes with sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. He writes, his primary writing part is Atticus Ross, and all of his other bandmates now contribute as well.
Oh,
it's not to say it doesn't go through the Trent Reznor filter, because it certainly does.
Yeah.
But they are an actual band now. That's not always been
for
the case.
Longest time.
For a very long time.
Just Trent.
Right. And the thing is, I was not a fan of 9 Inch Nails when they first came out. We started hearing about them when they had their first blow up just after like Broken and Fixed. Mm-hmm. I was not a fan. I think I've always been like a person that tries to defy popular opinion.
So the Downward Spiral was
not my thing. Yeah,
not that record.
Well,
that was a good one.
And it was actually your brother-in-law that changed everything for me. And I was to the point where I was like making fun of people that wore 9 Inch Nails shirts and things like that in high school, whatever. And then, we were walking home from school, and Cam's like losing his mind listening to his headphones. It's like, Chris, you got to hear this. I'm like, what? He's like, you got to hear this. He puts it on my head, and it was Sin by Nails. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? Like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm like, and he wants to take my headphones. Like, well, let me hear the rest of the song, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is that? He goes, that's 9 Inch Nails. I felt like such a fool, such a buffoon. I'm making fun of this band, and I've never heard anything, and now they changed everything.
Yeah.
And then, from there, I went to the back catalog, and I started with Pretty Hate Machine and made my way up.
That is the classic to me.
That's a great record. I have that on vinyl, too.
Yeah, we've heard it. Yes, I have. Yes, it's wonderful, wonderful. Downward Spiral, and then everything in between. And what made them so influential in my life, or the music influential in my life, is not just each piece has come at a time in my life that I've needed it, but also how much just Trent Reznor has connected me to other, not just music, but other forms of pop culture, other forms of media, just through my pure love of what they do. Whether that be Tool, whether that be even certain styles of hip hop, all these other things that Trent has had some
the Reznor Bowie song.
Yes, Bowie too. Like I always loved Bowie, but I didn't like really love Bowie until that whole record came out. I was like, holy shit, Bowie's the man. Right
when at least I'm Afraid of Americans.
That's the Earth Thing record.
When that came out, it made sense.
Yes, it did.
Because I'd been a Bowie fan.
Oh yeah.
Up until that point too, like Ziggy Stardust. I love that record. I think it's one of the greatest concept albums
of all time.
Ever.
Yeah.
And David Bowie, just a great musician all around, great actor, great artist.
Great artist, yeah.
But when that came out, I couldn't have seen a better collaboration. I couldn't have thought of like a
and
better.
they did it beautifully.
It worked,
and
man.
that story of those two, like the idea of idol and idly becoming mentor mentee, and then both becoming just best friends to be able to. That's just, man, that's great. And if you know the backstory behind that, at that point, Trent was dealing with a lot of drugs in his life. It was a very hard time, and he credits Bowie as the one who kind of had that chat,
sucked him out of him,
and a
little bit,
nice.
and put him on that pathway.
Cool.
To
very nice.
Bowie knows.
Oh,
and if you're going to listen to anybody, listen to your idol, right?
For sure.
Somebody who's actually sitting there saying, "I'll take you under my wing musically," and then saying, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't do so many drugs."
Yeah. Here's the
maybe you
reason
do
why.
any drug.
Here's why I stopped.
And
for
this-
sure.
yeah.
And I don't know the exact conversation, but the fact that he was able to do that, and Trent was able to have an even, I personally think, an even better career since then. It's just a testament to that. I know you're going to say Downward's like the best album.
No, I was going to say Trent Reznor is the only reason why I would have ever listened to Marilyn Manson.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because of Antichrist Superstar.
Yeah, for
Gotcha.
sure. That was the album he produced.
Yeah.
Phenomenal record, sonically.
Unbelievable.
Like the production and because as a producer, he gets to say, maybe you should do this instead of doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
So his influence in general over the way that the music was written or recorded or
all those
mixed,
bits.
It's
wonderful.
Nice.
And then you get to the next record and it's just kind of like, this dude's fucking weird, this Marilyn Manson guy. The album beforehand, you're like, this dude's weird. The album after is like, this dude's weird. And then this album's like, great concept album.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so that's
Nice.
that's the only Marilyn Manson I can stand.
No, I hear
if
you.
he's touched it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean,
If Reznor's touched it. Yeah.
with the exception of a couple of things off Mechanical Animals and certain covers, I can't think of any. And no offense to Marilyn Manson, not that he needs my bullshit, but I don't really think there's much good stuff. Like, I know he did some pretty neat concept stuff before the Smells Like Children. He did some stuff on that was interesting, but like after Antichrist Superstar,
I can't think of anything.
that was literally like peak. And I think it was because of Trent Reznor.
It is, and that's a testament to Trent. Like, say what you will, he is a master at writing music. Like, he just knows shit that we can't even comprehend. And I'm not trying to, like, I know I love the guy and he's like my top 5 people I need to be before I die. But like, I really think that his understanding of sonic sounds and how to place things together to make what a new idea of a complete song is, there's nobody who does it better. There's nobody.
He also uses, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but it's called psychoacoustics, where he'll mix in sounds that you don't actually hear, but your brain still registers.
Yep.
Interesting.
Go listen to Beside You in Time, which might be my favorite song. It's all full of that. There's a lot of other music that he does, but that's a really great example of that.
Nice.
Like, because when you hear it, like there's something resonating inside of you, but it's like you're not hearing it.
It's wild shit, man.
It's awesome. They've ventured into every genre. Well, maybe not every genre. No ska.
I haven't heard any country.
Well, yeah, they did actually. Lil Nas X. I mean,
oh really?
Oh, you don't know?
That's
you
an
don't know. You don't know.
I didn't know that.
To you. So Lil Nas X, Old Country Road.
Yeah.
He sampled from the Ghosts soundtrack.
Oh, right. Sampling. Okay,
I
gotcha.
remember you mentioning this.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, and Trent Reznor won a country music award for that.
I remember you mentioning this.
Billy Ray Cyrus too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, I think Billy did a good.
How was
chunk
that
of
not
work.
my number one?
I know, right?
I do
And then
enjoy
now
that
we
song.
got jazz, with soul and working with John Baptiste amongst other music.
But
that
would
he's
you
done.
consider that a Nine Inch Nails?
I think if Trent's hands are on it, yes.
It's a Nine Inch
Yes,
Nails.
I do. But again, what I'm saying is, whether it's Nine Inch Nails or not, Nine Inch Nails has led me to other avenues in different music,
fair enough.
Gotcha.
in different
Okay,
pieces of pop culture. Right?
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee I don't think I would have bothered with the band Tool, because I didn't bother with them when we were kids, until I learned about A Perfect Circle because of the band Tapeworm, which was supposed to be basically Tool and Nine Inch Nails together. But that didn't happen. And then basically that kind of turned into a
perfect circle happened.
Yeah, more or less. And there's actually 2 songs that Trent's credited for writing for Pussifer and for I like a perfect circle. I'm a fan.
I saw him live and I didn't.
I haven't seen him live.
Couldn't appreciate it.
But
it was literally one of those 45-minute sets where I would turn to the person next to me and say, "Is this still the same fucking song? Have they been playing the same song for 45 minutes?
By just going
doop, 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 doop. But Tool, love Tool, love fucking Tool. I don't know if I'd put on a newer Tool record. I find them to be a little more avant-garde than Undertow or Opiate.
Yeah,
stuff like that's. To me, Tool was rock and roll still.
Okay.
And now I feel, again, it's almost a blending together of the vibe.
Yeah, they're much more proggy, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I almost want to go try actually a recent Tool. Not that you bring that up that way, but
get yourself good and licked and go give that record a go. You will not be disappointed.
That one song that goes,
I know it's totally off the wrong or the right.
Oh
topic,
no, it's okay.
That's
perfectly fine.
Sarcastically distracted
let's sarcastically distract ourselves back to Nine Inch Nails. There's no bad Nine Inch Nails record, and the crazy thing is, as different as all their music is, and I know this is all subject to opinion, but you can throw all of their music together on a playlist and play it on shuffle.
It'll sound random.
It will sound random, but it will all sound in place. Also, he's the master that's something he's master at making you feel good about being uncomfortable. Like that's something I don't think many artists do well, and yet he seems to do it. When you go listen to songs like The Becoming or Reptile, pretty much everything off of Downward Spiral, or even The Fragile, which is my favorite record that they've done, and that's hard to say. That's really freaking hard to say, but I have to go with that record because of the influence that it had on
you still have to pick the song, don't forget.
I know.
Okay. No, you're not getting out of this one.
My favorite Trent Reznor song is one he did with Dave Grohl and Josh Homme on the Sound City soundtrack, which is called Mantra.
Such a great song,
and just the way the song builds from just a little bit to this thing at the end that's just like. Yeah, it turns into like a completely different. It's like a Pokemon. It goes from this cute little thing to this badass thing in the end of it. Like just the way it evolves.
And there's 2 versions. There's the instrumental and there's the one with the lyrics. And I love the play of lyrics of the vocals of Dave's, which are very kind of Dave Grohl's, which is very somber, kind of sweet, whatever, until it picks up. And then Trent does backups where he basically keeps that going as Dave's free. Oh, it's freaking just a great song.
Wonderful.
I'm excited to try that one.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, I want to do like a 6 Degrees too. I feel like there's a lot of connections in all the bands that we've chosen. Like, there's a way to path it through, but that's another story.
There's definitely a way to pin Dave Grohl to those 2.
Yeah,
all of them. Every one we've talked about, right? They're all connected in some way. And I think
it's Dave Grohl.
Well, I'd actually say the Beatles. I would say all of the bands that we're fans of have been influenced. Maybe not Childish Gambino. I don't know, but outside of him,
well, influences can be to a certain extent. Yeah,
I feel like the Beatles would be the big one for them.
Probably.
Well, Dave did a song with Paul on the Sound City. He was in a band with John Paul Jones, who was the bass player for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
he did an album with Trent Reznor.
Crazy, yeah, that's true.
Nice, there you go.
I'm not sure if he's done anything with any of the fellers in Aerosmith.
I would not know. I have to be. That is outside the scope of my knowledge.
He's got his sticky little fingers and everything, that Dave Grohl fella. So what's your favorite Nine Inch Nails song?
Yeah, there we are.
Fuck.
And it has to be less than 8 minutes long. I'm just kidding.
There are a few of those, aren't there?
So Ghosts doesn't count as a song. It counts as an album.
That's right. It's a whole bunch of songs.
But it is just one song. It's just different parts.
I love the struggle every time.
It's so hard. Like
the first one.
If you could only
I'm gonna say
for the rest of your life.
Oh no. No, dude, I can't do that. Oh.
If somebody told you that you had to go to a desert island and all you had was this MP3 player, but it could only hold one song.
That's a lame MP3 player. That's like
it's one from like 1996.
Yeah.
1 megabyte.
It's a mini disc player.
It's like the first one that I had that you can put 10 on.
Yeah, I'll go Right Where It Belongs. Right, yeah, right, yes, or Right Where It Belongs. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's either that or Beside You in Time.
From which album was this?
They're both off of With Teeth.
Yeah, you don't even know.
With
so that would mean
record.
that Dave Grohl was on that.
He was on that one, yeah, and I think he was.
Nice. That is a funny connection.
Because I don't know those songs. Like everyone, fuck it. There's not.
Well, no, that's the fun part of this one.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Band is hard.
And it's like
song harder.
You know what's really great about Nails? We've all talked about how some of our favorite bands were like you hear on the radio like, oh God, I'm done. That's never happened to Nails. I don't think there's any song even
Closer.
Yeah, but they don't play it enough because of the swear words. That's
true, but I think that was the one that was
close to. Yeah,
there was another one, and I think it was from With Teeth.
I was going to say Head Like a Hole or Only, maybe Only.
Head Like
a Hole. That
could have been. Yeah.
No, there was a couple that there was one that came out, and he was talking about the George Bushes.
Oh, capital G. Yeah, that almost got
that one.
Yeah,
that one was on FM 96. Like,
that was a little bit too much. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I would agree. That's off the Year Zero record, which is a great concept record.
Which album did he do where he did the weird guerrilla marketing thing where he he was leaving thumb drives in like fucking bathrooms and shit like that.
Really?
They were completely unlabeled.
Yeah, interesting.
And it was it demos or it was like
they were
remixes
leaked demos, but they were completed songs. So the idea was he created this concept of a world, which that was 2008 or 10. When it must have been 8.
My children were born in those 2 years. Anyway, moving on.
He wanted to do like a future like a concept album of the future, coming from different points of that world.
Okay.
And basically as if capitalism kind of kept going the way it was and there was supposed to be a big thing that happens. What would the world look like after that thing happens? And what he did to prepare for the album, he got together with this viral marketing group. Before it was viral marketing is what it is today. And they, like AJ said, they set up this whole campaign where they had all these secret websites that would lead to other websites.
Yeah, they were weird.
Crazy things. And then the flash drives is just like getting just the start of it. What it would do is if you would play certain songs through like it
was a visualizer.
Visualizer.
Yeah.
You would see like heat signatures that you could then take those heat signatures and whatever the mapping is inside of it, you could take that and use that as a code somewhere else for whatever.
Or there was one.
I actually want to learn more about this.
Yeah,
there
would also be animations.
Yes, there was animations.
The heat signatures would create, or the not heat signatures, but the frequency signatures is what it's doing. It's reading the frequencies in the song.
Right.
So what he did again, psychoacoustics.
Nice.
He used frequencies that we can't hear because the human hearing is only from 20 hertz to 20,000.
Sure.
Okay, sure.
Kilohertz.
I gotta believe you.
20,000 kilohertz is
impressive. 20.
But I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah. And so he would use frequencies that the human ear couldn't detect, and if you ran them through I think they're called a spectroanalyzer or some shit like that, you would see there would be little animations and shit like faces and. Yeah. And
the CD itself came in one color, but when you played it in your CD player, because of the heat, had a monochromatic label.
Oh, cool.
So it would change colors and it would have a code in it that you use elsewhere.
To get that is cool.
They even had like the big culmination. I don't think this is where they wanted it to end, but I think it just kind of worked out the way it did. Big culmination was they had like a private concert in LA that if you went down the rabbit hole, you can make your way there. And what they did was they staged it like you're going to this underground meeting. Yeah. Right. And then you go through this thing and they're giving you all these instructions. You do not do this and do not trust this person. Very much in the world. And then, Nine Inch Nails doing like a little show that's like less the size of the embassy. Like it's a small little stage. Yeah. They play like maybe 4 or 5 songs off the record, rock the fuck out of it, and all of a sudden they get raided by these fictional officers, and everyone gets pushed out or whatever. And then
that's cool. I didn't know about
really
that.
Cool. He had
so it was like his version of 1984.
Yeah, but exactly.
It was very
more or less.
Orwellian.
Very Orwellian. And I think he wanted to lead it into a television show, which was where it was going, and to try to.
Interesting.
It just never kind of amounted to that. But now, guy's got an Oscar, Grammys, and everything else. An Emmy. Oh, no, he's got an Emmy.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite Nine Inch Nails songs is comes from The Lost Highway. There.
Oh yeah,
Perfect Drug.
Perfect Drug.
I love that song.
That is a good one too.
Love that song.
I love it.
I
don't hear that song enough anymore.
Yeah.
Even that offbeat stuff they do with Burn and Crash, and it's just great.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it. And like, yeah, what can I say? Trent, if you ever hear this, one of our tens of fans, I'm just grateful for the music you put in my life. Honestly, I like when we're talking about our music, like this. It changes you, like these bands.
Oh yeah. They affect, they drive. Yeah,
for sure.
They help.
I've often thought, like, well, maybe I'm just a ninja, and maybe I'll like somebody else. But then, like, no, like, there's nothing bad. There's just nothing bad. Yeah.
I had again as a musician. I guess we're kind of winding down here.
Yeah.
But as a musician, I had a hard time, man. I had a really hard time, and that's why I had to focus on ones that really had an influence and an impact even on the style of how I play drums.
Nice.
But like I'm standing there holding a Metallica record.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Again,
sure.
I would say it somewhat influenced me on how I play, but not as much as Zeppelin or the Foo Fighters.
Right.
Or an Incubus record, or because again, there's certain point, and this could harken back to the whole nostalgia conversation that we had in the past. There's certain albums that just are not one song you skip.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
But the question is, I think for me was more of how many albums do I like? Was there a point where I really fell off?
Gotcha.
The buying every record bandwagon sort of thing of that band, and like Incubus. Yeah, there was a certain point where it just got not what I enjoyed about those 1, 2, 3, 4 records that I did enjoy, or same with Metallica. There was a point where it's just guys are fucking old now. Like it's not. I don't know. It's not. I don't want to say it's not cool anymore, but I don't know. There was a point where you just kind of you fucked up.
Yeah,
and
sure. Well,
in my opinion, anyway. I mean, obviously, there's other people who think completely different than I do.
Yeah, they hate the original like the new.
Well, what's that great line from Batman? You either die the hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Maybe that's Metallica's case.
Well,
Interesting. Yeah.
They kind of they dipped and sort of came back. There was the one
album
album there that
listen,
shouldn't have existed.
You can only shit on Metallica because they're so damn big. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they are that band that are top of the metal game, and they've earned their place in rock royalty. I won't hate on them. I've always loved Metallica. I just maybe because we talk about how often bands are overplayed, I feel like they've been overplayed more than like virtually anybody else I've ever heard.
I can't remember the last time I heard a Metallica song.
Well, I don't listen to the radio much anymore.
I agree in the 90s.
Yeah.
For
okay,
sure.
Well, yeah.
For sure in the 90s. It was
90s,
2000s. There was 3 albums there that were very, very radio heavy. You had your Black Album, which had the Enter Sandmans on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Sabbath True,
song,
Wherever I Might Roam, The Unforgiven. All of the songs that were on the radio.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Then they did the 2-parter there, Load and Reload. And both of them had
I forgot about those.
big radio play.
Yeah.
Were those Bob Rock? Was it Bob Rock?
All 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah, all 3
well,
of them,
Bob Rock was with them up until Saint Anger.
Right.
And
that was this.
Well, that was the album that shit the bed, and that was, I would probably say, partly his big part of it was his fault.
Okay.
Was his production or lack thereof on that record. Like, it sounds like the snare drum is a trash can. Literally, he went to Home Depot,
got himself
a big tin trash can, and that's what he used as a snare drum. It's not what happened, but it sounds like it. And that, for me, that was also the point where I started doing the audio engineering thing. And it.
Well, there you go.
Made me sad in my heart.
But they helped drive you on the thing that makes you happy today.
Right. There you go.
No.
Pushed you there.
I tried.
It just made me sad for them.
I know.
Fair. Sad for me because I enjoyed Metallica, and then I hear this record and it's like I don't enjoy Metallica anymore. Because of this piece of garbage. And then but there were too many.
Too many. This honestly, Dave, this was like the toughest challenge.
Oh, I know. That's what was fun about it.
So
hard. Yeah.
So
I know that we could talk for like another hour
easy.
Just about everything we really wanted to bring up, but can't do it.
I thank you for doing this. As hard as it was a really great.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Understanding of our music.
Yeah.
Well, see, I have. I don't know if you guys checked your Trellos lately.
No.
But I did add something to my card.
Oh, nice.
My idea card, which will probably be a future episode. So get ready to play the Who's Your Favorite Musician game.
Oh, jeez.
Well, and that's where you have people like myself. Well, what do you mean by musician?
Well, see, that's just the thing. You could say fucking Kenny G for all I care.
Spoon Man.
You could say the guy who plays harmonica on the corner of Dundas and Richmond is your favorite musician, and you have to tell me why.
Okay, interesting.
Right, so not just band.
Yeah.
Right, because there could,
but specific guitarist, drummist. Gotcha.
Because I mean, you listen to music, and this will be, I'm preparing you now because then you can kind of think about it. Maybe when you do listen to music, like, hey, this guy's a great guitar player. Maybe I don't like Ozzy Osbourne, but Zakk Wylde's a phenomenal guitar player, or something.
Who doesn't like Ozzy?
Best, I don't know, weirdos. But one of the best things we saw was that Ozzy show where Zakk Wylde did like 10-minute solo. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
So
nice.
You get my point. I'm just preparing your brain for more
there you go.
challenges.
Fans out there, sequel episode coming.
Yes.
Our favorite musician, where we're going to rack our bloody brains. And
that'll be fun. That'll be good.
That'll be really tough. So a little quick recap before we end up here. So my three were Childish Gambino, The Tragically Hip, Nine Inch Nails, with the songs being That Power, and I said Nautical Disaster, and I said Right Where It Belongs. And then your recap was, it would have been Foo Fighters.
Somebody remembers.
Oh, yeah.
Beatles, and then Led Zeppelin.
I wrote it down. I was safe.
Foo Fighters, you said it was Walk. Beatles, you said it was A Day in the Life. And then you said for Led Zeppelin, it was...
Oh.
I can't remember.
That's not a song.
No.
It's not.
A Moby
Zeppelin
Dick
song. Yes, sir.
For the drummer reference.
Nice.
And then David, you said your favorite was Blues Brothers.
Yes.
And you said it was your second favorite band was it was Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show.
Yes.
And then first favorite band was Aerosmith.
Yeah, that one's easy.
That was easy. Yeah. And Blues Brothers.
Did we ever get an actual song title out of you for Aerosmith?
Yes.
Yes, he did. It was the song title was Living on the Edge.
Oh, right.
And for Blues Brothers,
it
was
She Cut
the Katy.
Thank you, Shut the Katy. Yes. And then and then for your second one again, it was
Carry Me,
Carry, which is amazing.
I always like Rubber Biscuit.
Ooh, Rubber Biscuit is
That's
good.
also
I'm not knocking it. Rubber Biscuit.
Or the song they did with Aretha Franklin.
Which
or I guess she did it.
Yeah, she did it. It was just in the movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And for our tens of fans out there that are listening, we present this challenge to you. You go ahead. You tell us in the comment section your three favorite bands, a little bit about why, and what are your three favorite songs by them. That's all you get. You can't choose any more or less. Maybe you know exactly what they are. Maybe you don't. That's the point. So please reach out to us. Keep the conversation going. Let's comment with each other and talk about music and bands and stuff like that. And until next time, actually, before we get into that, real quickly, for all those that are listening and they're feeling a little, I don't know, mentally unchecked, we just want to let you know you matter. Back to us, back to those that are around you, even though we don't even know you, you matter. And if you feel that you need to have a conversation, please do. There are people out there that want to talk to you about your life, what's going on in it. And now as to that, I'm now going to say, this has been a pleasure, guys.
It's been great.
I feel exhausted.
I do.
Mentally, yes.
I really do. And thanks for that, Dave, for that mental exercise. As always, we've been the Gentleman Society of Podcasting. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Harvey.
Yes, thank you very much for watching.
I heard watching too.
Watching.
Yep.
I told you I was
smell
exhausted.
pretty good.
I didn't lie.
Blame the mic. It was the mic.
It was the mic's fault. It just came out.
Anyway, enjoy, everybody.
I've been Harvey.
Dave.
And I get high with a little help from my friend.
Yeah.
I'm AJ.
And just like that, you've been sarcastically distracted. Peace.
Bye now.
Take care.